Welcome into the Coach's Corner for another little mini episode on hormones. It is hormone month this month, all month long. I have been sharing little tips about hormone health. Today is no different. We will be talking estrogen dominance today. So, estrogen dominance is a big deal when it comes to hormones for a lot of us women as we transition from perimenopause into menopause and even into our teenage years as well, as our hormones begin to balance out and develop properly. Sometimes we end up with this imbalance. But let's go back a couple of weeks because we started this whole hormone discussion with myths about hormone transitioning. Do you have to take a hormone replacement? Are you going to feel awful? All those different myths. If you haven't seen that video, go back and take a look. If you can't find it, check it out on YouTube. I'll leave all the links below and you can find them there. And then last week I talked about the gut and how important gut health is. And if you are on my newsletter list, you got the newsletter today about your gut, keeping your gut happy, that leading to happy hormones as well. And we're continuing that discussion today as we talk about estrogen dominance and what that really means. So for a lot of us going through this transition, the symptoms that we're experiencing, whether it be the mood swings, the bloating, the tender breasts, the fibroids that may be in your breasts or your ovaries that you may be experiencing, all of that can be related back to estrogen dominance. But the real question is, how does this happen? Why are we getting estrogen dominance? And how can we alleviate some of the symptoms? I'll tell you, estrogen dominance happens two ways, one of two ways, maybe both of those ways. And one is because the elimination of the excess estrogen that's happening in our bodies is not happening through a pathway that is healthiest, that happens in the liver. Okay, that's number one. The second way that estrogen dominance happens is because there is this imbalance between estrogen and progesterone. So it's not necessarily that you've got too much estrogen, it's that your progesterone may be higher or your estrogen may be too low. So, one of two ways that we can get estrogen dominance. So, I want to talk about how this actually is happening here so that you're really clear on how it's happening and what you can do to stop it, right? We want to stop the symptoms, and there's a way to do that in a natural, healthy way. And the first heavy hitter that we need to talk about is the liver, because it is one of the hardest working organs when it comes to detoxification in your body and when it comes to the elimination process of your body. Now, the big one we talked about last week was the gut, your microbiome, and how all of that is affecting the elimination process, right? Well, when it comes to excess estrogen, here's how it works. In the weeks leading up to ovulation, our estrogen is rising. It's supposed to, it's getting ready to house a fertilized egg, right, in the uterus. And so it needs this extra estrogen. But when that fertilized egg doesn't happen, then we get this excess estrogen. And that's okay. That's meant to happen, right? So our body is metabolizing all that. The liver is metabolizing all that and taking it to the gut to be eliminated. But the pathways that it's going through, if your liver is congested, if your liver is slow and sluggish, and that may be because we're not eating well, right? We're not drinking our water. And if you think about it, as we age, everything slows down. So the liver's no different there. What you used to be able to do, a couple of shots of tequila on the weekend when we're in college, get up the next day, have some coffee, and be on our way. We can't do that anymore. Heck, I can barely drink a couple of glasses of wine, right? And then be okay the next day without feeling the effects of, oh, I drank a little too much last night. That's our liver. Our liver has to detox everything. And as we age, it takes a little bit longer for that to happen. So if you're thinking about the pathways of estrogen and how that, I'm not going to get complicated here because that would take too long, but the pathways of estrogen and how that gets metabolized within the liver, things are slowing down. We have to be cognizant of that. So we have to give our liver a lot of love, a lot of love, and not be drinking those, 5 shots of tequila on the weekend and expect it to be okay. It's kind of like somebody saying, I'm going to go to the dentist and get my teeth cleaned twice a year, and I'm not going to brush my teeth other than getting my teeth cleaned twice a year at the dentist office. Yeah, no, that doesn't work so well. That's not going to work so well with your liver either. If you only pay attention to it a couple of times a year when you do a detox, or maybe once a month when we do a shred 10. Okay, yes, we're giving lots of love to the liver at that time, but we need to be paying more attention to it. And that means that we're eating more astringent foods like arugula and radishes and things that are bitter. Okay, that's going to give a lot of love to your liver. So we're giving love to the liver, and then the excess estrogen goes into the gut to be eliminated. But here's the catch: if your gut is unhealthy, like we talked about last week, then we've got issues going on in the gut. So we're not eliminating, maybe we're constipated. And then what happens to that excess estrogen? It gets reabsorbed into the body, creating more problems. So it gets reabsorbed, goes back to the liver, and the liver says, hey, wait a minute. I just saw this. Why is it coming back through again? I'm going to have to redo this whole bit of metabolizing again to get rid of it, processing it again to get rid of it and give it back to the gut. So you can see here the interplay of all the organs working together. There's a synchronous process that has to happen, guys. And when we're out of sync because one part of our body is compensating because another part is slow and sluggish, that doesn't work so well. So, in the totality, we need to speak about wellness with hormone health as everything. Everything's got to work together in harmony, in balance. So, that's the first piece of this. The second piece of this is excess body fat. And as we age and our estrogen levels naturally come down, your body is looking for estrogen because it's protective. It's protective of our bones, of our brain. And I'm going to talk about all this in my next newsletter. So I won't go into too much detail here, but it's a protective factor for us, especially as women, this estrogen. So your body's looking for more. And if it's looking for more and can't find it, it creates this belly fat. It looks for it with the belly fat, right? And now, if you've already got some excess weight going on around your middle area, know that that fat isn't just hanging out. It's not just hanging out, it's metabolically active. It's producing more estrogen for your body to then have to deal with. So it's really tricky when we're talking about getting rid of the estrogen because we're talking about the liver, we're talking about the gut, but now we're talking about the excess weight around the middle. And what do we do with that? If you haven't started exercising, you don't have an exercise routine, join our group. Our Facebook chat that we've got going on is fantastic. It's going to energize you, it's going to encourage you to get with it every single day because it's an accountability group, right? And that's what we do with each other. We keep ourselves accountable. So recognize the fat. The third way is stress. The third way that adds excess estrogen is stress, because stress is working on the digestive system. Just like we talked about, stress is increasing cortisol, it's increasing norepinephrine, and it's decreasing the mobility of your digestion. Because let's face it, if you're being attacked by a tiger, your stress is going to increase. You're not going to have to go to the bathroom. Your body is not going to give you signals that you have to stop and go potty at this point. No, right? You're being attacked by a tiger. And that's how your body perceives stress physiologically. So we got to take care of our stress. And that may mean going for a walk in the middle of the day, around your work building, or outside, take the dog for a walk. Whatever you need to do to lower your emotional temperature, do it. 3 deep breaths can change your biology. And I'm talking deep breaths from the diaphragm. Really get into the diaphragm and meditation and prayer and all those things that are going to decrease that emotional temperature and make you feel grounded. Do those things to decrease that stress level so that you're not worried about the excess estrogen floating around in that gut. And the last way that I'm going to talk about that we have excess estrogen is that we do it to ourselves through, well, some of it is to ourselves through toxins. Toxins are everywhere, whether we are breathing it in the air, whether we're eating stuff with pesticides and herbicides on it. But what I want to talk to you ladies about most importantly is cosmetics, the hair products, right, that we are using. All of that can contain chemicals if we're not conscious of what we're putting on our skin. Your skin is the largest organ. It's also the largest detox organ. It absorbs everything that you put on it, that we put inside the mouth. It's absorbing everything going into the bloodstream and creating xenoestrogens, fake estrogens. So your body thinks that it's more estrogen that it has to get rid of. Now, women, there's an average out there that says we put about 500 chemicals on our body every single day. 500. From the lotions that you're lathering up with, to your makeup, to your hair products, to nail polish, to everything that we do to make ourselves beautiful because we want to look fantastic, right? But all of that can create a toxic load that, again, the liver has to deal with. So think about your perfume. Your perfume, this is some perfume that I like to use. It's not really perfume, it's oils. And I get this from Sacred Moon Herbs. There's one in San Marcos, there's one in Dripping Springs, but it's essential oils basically, and it's just a spritz. This is natural. Where are we taught, ladies, to put perfume? Right here, right? At our pulse points. What's right here? Do you guys know what's right here? Your thyroid. Your thyroid is right here. If you are spraying your perfume, conventional perfume, onto your thyroid and it's getting in to your thyroid gland, we're going to have some hormonal issues down the line eventually, right? So we don't think about those things, but really we want to move towards more natural products, more natural things to make ourselves smell good, look good. And nowadays, I think we're living in a perfect time because companies are more conscious of what they're putting out there. As much as there are still toxins in a lot of products, more companies, I think, are becoming aware of what they're using in their ingredients. So read those labels, know what you're getting, decrease the estrogen load on your liver, and be kind to the liver, right? I'm going to talk more about this in the newsletter coming out next Monday. But really, guys, pay attention to all the things coming in, intentionally coming in, right? The stuff that we put on our skin, but all the stuff that, our cleaning products that we use in our household, your laundry detergent, your dryer sheets, all of that can affect your hormone load. If you're already stressed out, you're already starting from up here, and then you're intentionally adding on to that by, your soaps, your body wash, your makeup, all that stuff, you're adding on to your estrogen load, then your liver has to deal with, then your intestines have to eliminate. So there's a lot of layers here, a lot of layers. Stay tuned for the hormone masterclass, guys, because I'm going to break all this down. I'm going to give you the solutions to what you can do, break it down really easy. You're going to get the foods, the herbs. We're going to talk cortisol and toxins again and really break it down for you. But the best part, I think, is that you're going to get this lab sheet to take to your doctor to say, hey, what is it that I need here? Can you run these labs for me so that we can look at the numbers and really decide, right? Why guess? Test and let's see where things are at. You're also going to get oils, essential oils that will help with those hot flashes, with the energy level. We're going to talk about cycle syncing and how to get your cycles in line with food, because that's a thing. Every month, we're every week in the month, really, we're on a different rhythm. Exercise too. Where should you be exercising within that cycle if you're still having one? So all that to come in the masterclass coming up next Monday. I can't believe it's almost here. I'm going to leave the link below if you're interested in that masterclass. If you have questions, reach out to me. I'm always here for you. So until next time, my friends, be well.